Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you were staring at someone you used to be? Do you ever feel like you're just drifting, trapped in routines that numb your soul while the fire inside slowly fades? What if this exact moment is your call, not to survive, but to awaken and rise? Welcome to Stoic Bridge, the bridge between ancient wisdom and modern life, guiding you through life's storms with calm and resilience. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you truly recognized yourself? Not just your face, but your fight, your hunger, your purpose. Too many men wake up one day and realize they've become strangers in their own lives, drifting, disconnected, watching their potential rot while time slips away, fast like a river in flood. Maybe that's where you are. Maybe life hit you so relentlessly you stopped swinging back. You got used to the pressure, to the silence, to the dull ache of knowing you were meant for more, but doing less. That fire in your chest, now it's just embers. But hear me clearly, fire doesn't die, it waits for breath, for a spark. And you are the spark. Right now you have a decision to make. Feed the fire or let it die out forever. Because here's the brutal truth. A man who bows to comfort binds himself to weakness. A man who fears challenge has already surrendered. And a man who refuses to evolve is digging his own grave second by wasted second. But a Stoic doesn't beg for ease. He doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He uses whatever life throws at him and shapes it into strength. Pain becomes power, rejection becomes resilience, loss becomes wisdom. He doesn't kneel before suffering, he commands it. And now it's your time. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. No more hoping, no more dragging around the corpse of your former self, no more excuses. You've got fire to rebuild, steel to forge in your spine, and a life that refuses to be ordinary. This is your turning point, but it only matters if you move. So smash that like button, subscribe, and lock in, because this isn't just another video. This is the moment you either wake up or fade away. Let's get to work. Number 1, reset. Burn the past and release the weight. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a vast desert. Behind you, shadows, ghosts of old choices, broken dreams, painful memories, pulling at your shoulders like anchors. And ahead, a road not yet walked, a future still unclaimed. But you can't take that first step forward, not while you're still dragging yesterday behind you like a corpse on your back. You can't move forward if you're still shackled to the weight of who you used to be. Those mistakes you replay over and over, those regrets that echo like whispers in the dark, that version of yourself you're ashamed of, it's all dead weight. Heavy, crippling, and completely useless to the man you're trying to become. So here's the first brutal truth. You've got to let it burn. That heartbreak that broke you down to nothing, that betrayal that made you question your worth, they weren't death sentences. They were wake-up calls, designed not to destroy you, but to wake you up. Every tear you cried, every scream into your pillow, every moment you thought you'd never get through, you did get through it. And now it's over. Let it burn. Let it go. If it doesn't fuel your fire, it's just ashes in the wind. Failures, they're not monsters hiding under your bed. They're not proof that you're not good enough. They're teachers, disguised in pain, wrapped in blood, branded into your skin like scars. But those scars, they're not signs of weakness. They're symbols of survival. Let them remind you of what you've learned, not what you've lost. And those people, the ones who left you bleeding in silence, the ones who turned their backs when you needed them most, they did you a favor. They revealed who they truly were, and in doing so, they helped you rise. You don't need their approval. You don't need their presence. You don't even need closure. Let them fade into the background while you rise under your own light, because you don't belong in their shadow anymore. You never did. But here's the danger. Some men cling to the past like it's part of their identity. They wear their mistakes like a badge. They say, "I've always messed up, so I probably will again." That's not strength. That's fear. That's the voice of a man still living inside his wounds. But you are not your worst moment. You are not your lowest day. You are not the sum of your failures. The man you were yesterday, he's gone, dead, and in his place stands someone reborn, someone who crawled through the fire and didn't come out the same. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the past is a thing that's beyond us. It's not your home. It's not your future. It's just smoke, and you're the one holding the match. So light it. Set fire to the lies you believed. Set fire to the guilt you carried. Set fire to the story that told you you'll never be more than this. You owe that old version of yourself nothing. Not loyalty, not sympathy, not another second of your life. Tear up every agreement you made with your past self. Rip the contracts. Burn the paper. He doesn't get to drive anymore. Even the pain, even the suffering, even the nights you thought would never end, they all had a purpose. They shaped you, sharpened you, but they do not define you. Now it's time to release, to let go of the anchors, to sever the invisible ropes that have kept you tied to a life that no longer fits. And when you do, when you finally burn what was never meant to stay, you'll feel something awaken. A jolt of electricity in your spine, a fire in your lungs, a roar building inside your chest. That's freedom. That's the taste of who you really are, without the weight of the past dragging you down. You're not the man you used to be. You're not the man you could have been. You're the man who chose to rise. And your future, it doesn't live in regret. It lives in that fire. So let the past burn. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you that you are not done yet. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Now take that fire, because in the next step, you're going to use it to rebuild. Number 2, restart. Build a new foundation. There comes a moment in every man's life when the ground beneath his feet gives way. Everything he built, everything he counted on, collapses into rubble. And in that silence, one truth echoes loudest. You can either stay broken or start again. Most people stay stuck, not because they're incapable, but because they're afraid. Afraid of beginning again. Afraid of the sweat, the grind, the uncomfortable truth of being a beginner. They fear the embarrassment, they fear the unknown. But what they don't realize is, this is where the real strength begins to take form. Restarting isn't weakness. It's raw, unfiltered power. It's the spark that turns ruins into revolution, chaos into clarity. Want to know what separates the unstoppable from the ordinary? It's not that they never failed, not that they never hit rock bottom. It's that when everything around them fell apart, they didn't fold. They didn't wait for rescue. They embraced the collapse, and then they stood up and rebuilt. They didn't sit in the ashes and complain. They got their hands dirty. They dug in. They shaped something new with more force, more focus, more fire. Because true power, the kind that endures, is not born in comfort. It's born in the ruins. When everything is stripped away, when there's nothing left to pretend, you are all that remains, and that's exactly where your strength begins. Seneca, one of the wisest Stoic minds, said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body." It's not a quote, it's a reality. Every setback, it's your training ground. Every failure, a test. Every urge to quit, a doorway to something greater if you walk through it. The old path, it's gone. Let it go. Because it's not your job to salvage what was, it's your mission to build what will be. You're not just surviving anymore, you're rebuilding, stronger, wiser, and fiercer than before. The Stoics didn't run from hardship. They didn't avoid suffering. They faced it with open eyes and steady hands. Because they understood this simple truth, When everything external is destroyed, the real work begins within. Think about every legend, every unstoppable figure you admire. They all met their breaking point. They all stood at the edge of collapse. But instead of crumbling, they rose. They turned destruction into transformation. They made pain their power. They made the end of one chapter the fuel for the next. Now it's your moment. Every restart is a battle. Every fresh beginning is uncomfortable, but also full of possibility. Yes, you'll doubt yourself. Yes, you'll feel like quitting, but don't you dare, because this is where the real you is born, not the version others expected, but the one that chooses to fight. Seneca also said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." So stop imagining failure. Stop creating fear where it doesn't belong. Step into the challenge. Push through it. Rise like a storm. This is how you reclaim control. This is how you become the architect of a life that cannot be broken. Forget who you were. Focus on who you're about to become. Because once your foundation is rebuilt, everything that comes next will rest on unstoppable strength. Number 3, refocus. Lock in on your mission. Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now look around, not just with your eyes, but with your awareness. What do you see? People moving fast but going nowhere. Running in loops, repeating the same patterns. Endlessly scrolling, tapping, swiping, falling into the black hole of noise and distraction. They're pulled from one meaningless activity to the next, chasing validation, chasing trends, chasing anything but purpose. Each click steals time. Each scroll siphons energy. And what do they get in return? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're losing hours, days, years, and they don't even notice, because the machine they're trapped in feeds on their attention. Weeks vanish. Months disappear like smoke drifting into the night. And one day they look up, only to realize they've spent the best years of their life on things that never truly mattered. That's the reality for most people. They dream of doing something great. They imagine themselves becoming powerful, respected, fulfilled, but they never begin. They never make the leap. Why? Because they're scattered. They're pulled in too many directions. They don't lack desire. They lack focus. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. Effort alone is not enough. You can grind all day, hustle all night, but without direction, you're just running in circles. Real success? It demands more than action. It demands obsession, laser sharp, unshakable, untouchable. It's a deep internal fire, a relentless force that refuses to bend to distraction, to doubt, or to drama. To become unstoppable, you must be willing to shut out everything that doesn't serve your mission. That means cutting the noise, letting go of the things that entertain you but weaken you. Saying no to comfort, no to convenience, no to anything that dilutes your discipline. It's a war. A war against the seductive pull of ease and mediocrity. A war against comfort culture. A war against the voice in your head that says, take a break, you deserve it. And most people, they're not built for that fight. They'd rather be entertained than empowered. They'd rather fit in than rise up. But you're not most people. You wouldn't still be here if you were. If you're still listening, then there's something inside you. A voice that refuses to be silenced, a spark that's begging to become fire. And that fire can only grow if you lock in. No hesitation, no second guessing, no wasting energy on things that don't move the needle. Your mission must become your obsession. It must dominate your thoughts. Guide your decisions, shape your routines. Every action you take, every step you make, every breath you breathe should be aligned with one goal. Not 5, not 10, 1. Victory doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of brutal clarity and unwavering discipline. You want to be great? You want to be untouchable? Then you must focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Let the world fall apart around you. Let the noise grow louder. Let others drown in distractions. Let Let their criticism become background static. You are not them. You weren't born to follow, you weren't built to conform, you're here to lead. And leaders don't chase everything, they chase one thing. With everything they have. True strength is not in juggling everything. It's in burning away what's unnecessary and building around what's essential. That's where power lives, in simplicity, in singularity, in focus. Epictetus, the Stoic master, taught us this. Freedom is the only true possession. And what is freedom? It's not wealth. It's not approval. It's the ability to choose your thoughts, your actions, your focus. The world will throw endless distractions your way. But none of that matters. You only control one thing, the path you take. So stop scattering your energy. Stop feeding things that drain you. If it doesn't get you closer to your mission, it's an anchor, a weight, a chain. Ask yourself right now, what is worth your life force? What's worth your time, your effort, your soul? That's where your focus must go. No compromise, no excuses, no drifting through life, hoping greatness will just show up one day. Because it won't. You have to build it, brick by brick. The time to act isn't later, it's not next month. It's not once you feel ready, it's now. And if you know this, time won't wait for you. You want a life that shakes the ground, then stop playing small. Stop saying yes to things that pull you off course. Say yes only to your mission. Live with fire in your chest. Live with precision in your steps. Live with clarity in your mind. Let your obsession guide you until the world bends to your will. Epictetus also said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. So what if you stopped chasing everything? What if you tunneled every drop of energy into one purpose? Just imagine the power that would unlock. That is the Stoic way. That is the warrior's code. And that is how you win. Burn the noise, sharpen your vision, become obsessed. Because this isn't just about success, it's about legacy. And next, we'll go deeper into how protecting your energy is the most sacred discipline of all. Number 4, protect your energy. Guard what fuels your future. Imagine your energy like a vault, not just any vault, but one that holds everything that makes you you. Your clarity, your focus, your creativity, your ability to dream, to act, to lead. Now imagine leaving that vault wide open, letting anyone walk in, take what they want, and leave without consequence. That's what most people do every single day without even realizing it. They give their energy away to conversations that go nowhere, to people who don't respect them, to distractions that drain instead of fuel. And then they wonder, why am I so exhausted? Why am I so stuck? The answer is simple, but hard to swallow. You're bleeding power. And the leak isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is worthy of your presence, your time, your thoughts, your emotional investment. You see, your energy isn't just what gets you through the day. It's the very fuel that powers your purpose, your ambition, your personal evolution. It's sacred, and it's limited. But there are people, some obvious, some hidden, who will stop at nothing to drain it. They don't just waste your time. They rob you of your fire. They erode your strength bit by bit until you're left hollow, like a shell of the person you were meant to become. Some people aren't just distractions. They're destroyers. They latch on like leeches, feeding on your focus, your kindness, your willingness to help. And every moment you spend tolerating them is a moment stolen from your future. Every interaction that leaves you drained instead of inspired is a withdrawal from your inner vault. And here's what makes it worse. They rarely look dangerous. Sometimes they're old friends, family, co-workers, people you once trusted. But if you look closely, you'll see the pattern. You always feel smaller after they leave. You always feel heavier after the call. You always feel like you're pouring yourself out and getting nothing back. That's not connection. That's consumption. And it needs to stop. You can't keep handing out your energy like it's disposable. You can't keep offering pieces of your soul to people who only want to take. You can't keep showing up for those who wouldn't notice if you disappeared. It's time to take your power back. Not through rage, not through revenge, but through boundaries. Clear, firm, unapologetic. Stop explaining, stop negotiating your worth, stop making room for people who never earn their place in your life. Protect your energy the way a lion protects its pride. With clarity, with purpose, with no hesitation. If someone disrespects your boundaries, cut them off. No drama, no guilt, no long speeches, just silence. Because silence is not weakness, it's closure. And it speaks louder than words ever could. You don't owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your peace. You don't need permission to walk away from what drains you. If they can't respect your space, they don't deserve a seat at your table. It doesn't matter how long you've known them. It doesn't matter how close you once were. If they subtract from your life, they don't belong in your future. Because when you finally begin to protect your energy, you awaken something within you that's been silent for far too long. You feel sharper, more focused, more alive. You realize how much strength you've been giving away and how powerful you become when you stop. That's when people start to notice. They feel it in your presence, in your words, in your silence. You become someone they can't manipulate, someone they can't drain, someone they can't control. You become unshakable. And here's the beautiful part. The right people will rise to meet your energy. They won't drain it, they'll protect it with you. They'll value your presence, not just take from it. Those are the ones worth keeping. Everyone else, let them go. Quick, clean, without regret. Because every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to your strength, to your clarity, to your destiny. The Stoics knew this truth. They didn't try to control the world. They mastered control over themselves. And that mastery, it begins with knowing who and what deserves your energy. So ask yourself, who are you allowing into your vault? What are you tolerating that weakens your fire? Where is your power leaking? Answer honestly, then act without hesitation. Guard your energy like the sacred force it is, because when you do, you don't just become focused, you become invincible. Number 5, discipline over feelings. Build unbreakable habits. Think of motivation like a match. It flares up suddenly, hot, bright, full of energy, but just as quickly it burns out, gone in seconds. That's motivation. It's a spark. Useful, yes, but unreliable. It shows up when things are exciting, but the moment life gets hard, the moment the winds of resistance start to blow, that spark dies. And that's where most people fall. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait to feel ready. But that moment, it never comes. It's a mirage, an illusion. If you're sitting around hoping for the right mindset, the right mood, the perfect alignment of emotion and circumstance, you're already losing. Because the world doesn't care how you feel, and neither does success. Winners don't wait for the right mood. They move, regardless. They act when they're tired. They act when they're afraid. They act when every part of them wants to stop. Why? Because they've learned a hard truth. Feelings are fragile. Discipline is invincible. Feelings whisper, you need rest, you need rest. You're not good enough, you deserve a break. But discipline roars back. No excuses. Get up. Keep going. Your feelings will betray you. They'll tell you to take the easy road, to avoid pain, to skip the hard stuff, to rest, delay, escape, settle. But discipline is the fire that doesn't need a spark. It burns without permission. It burns through chaos, through fatigue, through fear. It doesn't ask, do I feel like it today? It says, this gets done, no matter what. That's how powerful people are made, not through moods, but through momentum, through commitment, through showing up day after day, especially when it's hard. You're not here to chase comfort. You're here to build something unbreakable, a life so solid, so focused that not even the strongest storm can shake it. Discipline is your hammer, your shield, your armor, your sword. It's what separates those who try from those who become. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always winning. It's about consistency, even on your worst days. It's about making a vow to yourself that no matter how heavy life gets, you won't quit. That no matter what voice tells you to stop, you'll take another step. Because that's where the real growth is. Not in ease, but in the struggle. Every time you resist the temptation to quit, you grow. Every time you push through the pain, you level up. Every time you say no to comfort and yes to the grind, you become someone the world can't break. That's what Stoic strength looks like. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He didn't talk about waiting for inspiration. He didn't romanticize motivation. He said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the obstacle isn't the enemy. The obstacle is the training ground. The friction is what forges you. What you think is blocking you is actually shaping you. So when you feel like quitting, when the weight feels unbearable, when your mind screams, this is too much, that's the exact moment when your discipline must speak louder. That is where your power is born. You have to choose to show up, not because you feel ready, but because your mission demands it. Discipline doesn't ask for ease. It asks for commitment. Daily, deliberate, unbreakable. Each time you choose discipline, you are building something the world cannot tear down. You're forming a version of yourself that doesn't bow to pressure, but uses it as fuel. You're not just becoming consistent, you're becoming unstoppable. You're becoming a man who moves mountains with nothing but sheer resolve and unshakable focus. So stop waiting for the right mood. Stop hoping the feeling comes back. Stop depending on emotional weather. You will never always feel like it, but you can always choose it. You can decide right now to show up, to stay in the fight, to keep laying the bricks, because that's what it takes. That's how unbreakable habits are built. Not on fire, but on discipline. As Marcus said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And that's the heart of it. Be the man who doesn't need a spark, because he's already burning with purpose. Be the one who keeps going, even when no one's watching, even when everything inside says stop. Be the one who chooses discipline over comfort, who keeps rising, no matter how many times he falls, who builds a life no failure can destroy. Let your discipline burn hotter than any doubt. Let it consume every excuse. Let it fuel every step forward. And when the world says you can't, let your consistency be the quiet answer that says, watch me. Listen carefully. Right now, this moment is not just the end of a video. It's the edge of a decision, a silent crossroad, and no one's coming to pull you across. There's no cavalry, no reset button, no hand reaching down from the sky. It's just you and the raw, unfiltered weight of your choices. You can either carry your past like a ghost, dragging it into every room, every relationship, every goal, or you can incinerate it. You can either keep clinging to the old version of yourself, the one who made excuses, who stayed small, who feared change, or you can burn him down, reduce him to ashes, and rise. You can either remain stuck in a cycle that slowly rots your potential, or forge a new beginning so bold, so unshakable, that it leaves your soul shaking and the world speechless. This is where it happens. Right here. Right now. Unleash the past. Destroy the part of you that settled for less. Rebuild yourself with fire in your chest, steel in your spine, and purpose guiding every step. Fuel your willpower. Channel every drop of energy into this moment. No turning back, no distractions. No, maybe later. The choice is savage. The choice is final. And the choice is entirely yours. Throughout this journey, we uncovered brutal truths most people run from. We started by burning the past, cutting ties with everything that no longer serves us. Then we rebuilt, laying a new foundation with purpose and strength. We sharpened our focus, learning to block out distractions and lock in on our mission. We guarded our energy like a lion guards its territory, refusing to be drained by those who don't deserve access. And finally, we chose discipline over fleeting feelings, knowing that habits, not moods, forge greatness. Now the fire is lit, the path is clear. The only question left is, will you walk it? If something in this video struck you deep, if a part of you woke up, if you feel the old self beginning to crack, then act on it. Leave a comment below and say, I'm annihilating my old self today. Let the world know you're not turning back. And if you found value here, if this message moved you, then gently tap that like button. Share this video with someone who needs it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another piece of this mental armor. No more wishing, no more waiting. This is your moment to rise. Now go and set the world on fire.